Hello students, and welcome to week 6. Those of you who have been taking classes with Liberty for a while, you know that the rest of these final weeks are going to go really fast. So for those of you who are new to our class, hang on to your hats because before you know it, we are going to be celebrating the end of our 8 weeks together. For this week, week 6, we are going to be working on the synthesis essay, and you have been assigned to read Covey's Habit 5. You have already completed your literature review and received my feedback for that. You have either finished your methodology and rationale or you are finishing it up to submit before tonight's deadline. And then we're going to take a break from research for 1 week, give you a little bit of time to catch your breath before we work on the final project for week 7. So let's talk a little bit more about what's coming up this week in the synthesis essay. This essay gives you an opportunity to explain to a potential boss maybe, or an employer, or maybe even just your friends or your spouse, your mother-in-law, whoever is asking you, what is an INDS degree, or what are you planning to do with it? This one assignment gives you, or forces you really, to explain the benefits of what you bring to the table because of the experiences and the classes and the education that you have as a combined whole based on what you have studied and your choice of studies. This is an opportunity for you to focus on the skills that you have learned. What skills are you bringing in from your first degree, and what skills are you bringing in from your second degree? And as we use the word synthesis, how are they combining together? What advantage does that give you over the rest of your peers? They might only see half of the puzzle, one side, and another peer may see another half of the puzzle, but you, with your combination of experiences and degree fields, you might be able to bring in a broader perspective, and that's what we're looking for you to explain to us. Here's a quote from the instruction sheet itself. Do, by all means, make sure that you read through those instructions very carefully. You are instructed to focus on how your areas of study can connect to your future. You've been given 3 specific prompts. You choose one of them as far as how you want to approach your paper. But as you are writing this paper, we are not asking you for your biography. It's not a history of how you chose your fields. It is a forward-thinking, future-looking assignment. What skills will you bring to the table because of your degrees? You may choose a hypothetical situation or a problem that might need to be addressed within the field that you want to find yourself in one day, and explain to your employer, because of this work I did on a specific project in X class, your science class, your history class, your whatever class, I would approach this position or this problem using this position, and then I might combine it with this other perspective from my other field of study. So that's what we're talking about when we explain synthesis. This assignment, the instructions do ask that you use APA, so you will provide for us a title page, and all academic work is double-spaced. So after the title page, you'll go right into the paper. There's no need for an abstract. And with the assigned instructions of 700 to 1100 words, it's going to be about a 3 to 4 page paper. You can use first person because you're explaining yourself, your perspective. But please do not use any you words, which is second person. It comes across sounding very preachy, and you don't want to preach to your audience. You want to help them understand where you are. So speaking of understanding, the other thing that you had, another thing you had for this week was Covey's Habit number 5, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood. I find this so interesting. I love how God works these things out. I'm reviewing this stuff with you guys in class this week, and before I even started reviewing for this week, I had already been listening to somebody who's been referencing this information. And it ties in, it synthesizes very well with what Covey has to say as I skim through, having already read this chapter. So understanding ourselves is just as important as understanding other people. So when we listen to other people, we have to synthesize the information that we are gathering. What is the tone of voice that person's using? What kind of word choice? Why did he or she choose this word instead of a different word? What about the body language that person is conveying? All of those work together to communicate meaning to us. So we need to take time to listen to those things. But myself, I'm also learning that I need to take the time to listen to myself. I need to be paying attention when my heart starts to pound a little bit more. Where's that coming from? Am I nervous? Why am I nervous? Or when I start to feel defensive or a little bit angry, what was it that person said to me to put me on this, give me this perspective, to make me on guard? I have to be aware of my own perspective as well. And I hope that you guys are learning as a result of what you are reading and the presentations that you are hearing in class. It reminds me of this verse that I shared with my residential students last semester that comes to us from James, where we are instructed to be slow to speak and quick to listen. So these little bunny ears here, I hope they remind you to stop long enough and listen. What is somebody else saying to you? What is the meaning of the information that person is trying to communicate? And what are you saying to yourself? And I don't want to discount our spiritual ears. What is the Holy Spirit saying to you? So I hope that you are finding inspiration from Covey and from the representation of the videos that Professor Summy shared with us this week as he talks to Dr. Freed. You will hear them reference the person that I have been listening to an audio book, Brené Brown. The book I'm listening to is called Daring Greatly, and I highly recommend any of her resources. She challenges me while she also encourages me to listen to myself. She has lots of little mantras. She does, as a caveat, if you ever were to listen to Dr. Brown, she throws in a few cuss words in her writing, and so I would apologize for that, but the information it's new and profound for me, and practically everything she says, I can hear the Holy Spirit, and I hear Bible verses coming from what she has to say. But the reference to the video that you guys have to watch this, or yes, you've been instructed to watch this week, Dr. Freed will talk about Brené Brown and her references between empathy and sympathy. And I had seen that video previously, so I've posted a link to that video if you're interested. It's really short. And the way I explained empathy versus sympathy to my students in the residential class, sympathy is like taking a pair of binoculars and putting them on and getting a really close-up view of the other person's situation or problem or perspective, but you maintain that distance. So the binoculars help. They give you a better perspective, but you remain at a distance. Empathy is similar, in my thinking, to taking a pair of glasses, rose-colored glasses, purple-colored glasses, blue-colored glasses, whatever they are, a specific set of lenses, and putting them on and seeing the world as that other person sees the world. That way you have to be really close and understand what that person is going through, what that person is actually saying. So hopefully that analogy works for you. It worked out great for me. I don't know if my students actually gathered it well. Feel free to give me feedback. I'd love to see if it works for you or not. As you are reading through the information, listening to the videos for this week, I hope that you are able to synthesize all of this information in the big scheme of things, of how God is putting all of these pieces together for you, and in many cases for our nation. I know we all desire to be in community. God created us to be in community with one another. And Professor Brown, Dr. Brown, that I'm listening to, she talks about the importance of being vulnerable and trusting other people so that we can have that community that we so strongly desire. So I hope that Covey's book and this assignment for this week, when you work on synthesizing what you've learned and the skills that you have, I hope all of that stuff ties together well for you, and you are able to see how you fit into the future community that you hope to find yourself. So as always, if you have any questions, by all means let me know. We are in this together. We are going to finish this together. We're going to finish it well, and I have so much faith in each of you. Reach out to me if you've got questions. Otherwise, enjoy being able to write about yourself and your future. This week, I look forward to reading what you have to say.